The call to prayer echoes through the city. In a quiet neighborhood, the mosque stands, walls bright, carpets clean, but rows half empty. The imam's voice flows through the mic, calm, gentle, calling believers to peace. Yet outside, most young faces are turned not toward the mosque, but toward glowing screens. A young man scrolls on his phone, watching an Islamic lecture on YouTube. He nods, smiles, maybe even sheds a tear. He pauses the video, opens another, a scholar from a different country, another accent, another story. He feels connected, inspired, yet distant. The mosque is just a few steps away, but his heart is somewhere in the digital world. Today's generation lives in a strange time, where faith travels through Wi-Fi signals and knowledge flows through screens. The Quran is read on apps, du'as are learned from clips, and khutbahs are replaced by short videos with perfect subtitles and moving music. Everything is faster, cleaner, and easier, but also colder, emptier, and lonelier. So, the question rises, quietly but painfully, why are so many young Muslims turning to YouTube instead of walking into the mosque? Is it comfort, convenience, or something deeper, something missing inside the walls that once filled every heart? This is not a story of blame. It is a story of hearts searching for connection, meaning, and understanding in an age of distraction. It is the story of a generation torn between screens and sujood. Before we continue, dear viewers, if you love stories that touch your heart and bring you closer to Allah, remember to subscribe to Islamic Tales Hub, so you never miss the stories that awaken the soul. The digital world is a strange place, bright, endless, and always awake. Here knowledge is only a search bar away. A young Muslim types how to strengthen faith, and within seconds, thousands of videos appear. Famous speakers, calm voices, perfect editing. A lecture that once required a full evening at the mosque can now be watched in 5 minutes during lunch. It feels easy, accessible, almost spiritual. No need to dress, walk, or meet anyone. No judgmental looks, no social pressure. Just a voice and a screen. For many youth, YouTube became what the mosque once was, a place of learning, comfort, and connection. But the connection is not with people, it's with pixels. They can pause a scholar, rewind a verse, skip a moment they don't like. Everything is under control, personalized, customized. But faith was never meant to be customized. In the mosque, faith grows through presence. The echo of salam, the warmth of a brother's handshake, the calm rhythm of prayers in rows. On YouTube, faith becomes knowledge, but not necessarily practice. It feeds the mind, but not always the heart. A young sister listens to an online lecture while studying. She nods, whispers Subhanallah, but the next moment she scrolls to another app, her heart pulled in a dozen directions. Faith and distraction live side by side now. It's not lack of belief, it's lack of silence. This is how faith moved online, not because the youth stopped loving Islam, but because the world around them stopped slowing down long enough to let them feel it. The mosque is more than a building. It is the heartbeat of a community, a place where strangers become brothers and hearts find their rhythm again. But somewhere along the way, that warmth began to fade. Once, every child grew up hearing the call to prayer and running toward it. Now many hear it and keep scrolling, not out of disrespect but out of distance. The connection that was once felt has turned into something that is only heard. In the mosque, faith is alive. You see elders bending in prayer, children learning to whisper Bismillah, men and women meeting eyes with love and respect. You feel it in the air, humility, peace, unity. But when a young Muslim walks in today, sometimes they don't feel at home. They feel like visitors in their own house. Maybe someone stares at their clothes. Maybe no one greets them. Maybe the sermon feels harsh, the words too heavy for their tired mind. And so they return to where they feel safe, the screen that listens and never judges. A man can replay a YouTube lecture 100 times, but a mosque that fails to welcome him once can make him stay away for years. It's not about the teachings, It's about the touch, the tone, the heart. The Prophet Muhammad built mosques not just as prayer halls, but as centers of compassion, learning, and brotherhood. He didn't build walls, he built hearts. But now our walls are strong, while our hearts grow silent. We have microphones, marble floors, and perfect domes. But sometimes we have forgotten to smile when someone new enters. So the youth turn to the digital world, not because they hate the mosque, but because they are searching for what the mosque once gave: understanding, warmth, and connection. Late at night, a phone screen glows in the dark. The world is asleep, but millions of hearts are awake, searching, scrolling, listening. A young man watches an Islamic reminder. He feels peace for a few moments. His heart softens, tears gather in his eyes. Then the video ends, and silence returns. He scrolls again, searching for another dose of comfort. This is the cycle of modern faith: constant consumption, but rare transformation. We feel, but we do not act. We listen, but we do not live it. Our hearts are moved for minutes, but our habits remain the same. The screen gives us inspiration, but the mosque gives us transformation. One touches the mind, the other shapes the soul. Faith cannot survive only through pixels. It needs people, prayers, and presence. It needs the sound of footsteps entering the masjid, the voice of the imam reciting in a soft tone, the unity of believers standing shoulder to shoulder. YouTube can teach us what Islam says, but the mosque shows us what Islam feels like. Without that feeling, faith becomes information, not illumination. A young sister once said, "I learn more about Islam online than anywhere else, but I still feel empty." Her words reveal a truth many silently live with. The digital world can teach the rules of Islam, but it cannot replace the experience of living Islam. Every view, every like, every comment, they all fade. But one sincere prayer in the mosque echoes forever in the sight of Allah. So the emptiness continues. We have more access to Islamic knowledge than ever before, yet less peace in our hearts than ever before. Because peace is not found in screens, it is found in sujud. One day, after many months of watching lectures and reminders online, a young Muslim decided to walk into the mosque again. He didn't know what made him do it. Maybe it was a feeling, a call, or just longing. He left his phone on silent and stepped through the doors. Inside, he heard nothing but the gentle hum of recitation. A few men sat quietly reading Quran. The air was still, peaceful, different from the noise of the world he had grown used to. He sat down on no lights, no editing, no music. Just silence and the sound of Allah's words. And in that silence, his heart spoke for the first time in a long time. It said, "This is home." That night he prayed Isha in congregation. The imam's voice was soft, the rhythm familiar. And as he bowed his head to the ground, he felt something no video could give. The presence of Allah, near and real. After the prayer, an old man smiled at him and said, "Welcome back, my son." That one smile carried more warmth than all the lectures he had watched for months. It reminded him that Islam is not just knowledge, it's family. Soon others like him began returning too. Young men and women who had learned Islam online, but missed the feeling of being part of something greater than themselves. They began to see the mosque not as an old place, but as the heart of their faith, where screens end and souls begin. The youth of this ummah are not lost. They are searching. And every search for truth eventually leads back to Allah. So if you are one of them, if your heart feels distant, if your prayers feel weak, if your soul feels tired, know that the door of the mosque is still open. It does not ask for perfection, only presence. And remember, YouTube may teach you about Allah, but the mosque helps you meet Him. The story ends not with words, but with a question for every listener. When was the last time you felt the peace of a real sujud, not through a screen, but beneath the light of Allah's house?